Hello harmonica hobos! Do you make these mistakes when you're playing rhythm harmonica? Mistakes, that's a bit of a strong word. Maybe we should rephrase that as habits. There might be some habits that are stopping you progressing when you're playing rhythm to sound consistent and groovy with a good feel. Before we get into that, do subscribe to the channel. That helps me out a lot. Thanks so much. Okay, let's get into this. So if we take a groove, for example, we're learning from the old masters here, and this is a groove by a great harmonica player called Wayne Rooney. I might have mentioned him before. Not Wayne Rooney, the ex-Manchester United football player. Of course not. You weren't thinking that. Wayne Rooney. If we listen to this groove, let's just break it down. It's kind of based around a fox chase groove. I've done loads of videos on fox chases. Do check those out if you're interested in getting more in depth in this. Listen to the chords where I hit the offbeats. Da, da. We're after consistency of repetition. So in terms of the dynamics and the velocity. So how I hit the chord or the note when we're playing groove harmonica or any instrument. And think of a drummer. Like, go and check out if you want to see one of the greatest funk drummers, a guy called Bernard Purdie. Watch him when he's hitting the snares with the left hand. And that snare is pretty much the same every time he's playing that backbeat. And that's because he's honed that from years and years of practice. Unless he's trying to intentionally alter the dynamics, the volume, it's the same. And think of our in chord on the offbeat almost being like a drummer snare. If I was to just play that chord and take away, strip away the rest of the groove, so this is a habit. A bad habit would be inconsistency of repetition. I'm going to exaggerate, but if you're going and you're not playing the chord the same every time, but also if you're not nailing the dynamics and the velocity with how hard you hit the chord, because that's really going to be instrumental in the feel and the groove of what you're playing. So number one would be inconsistency of repetition. So number two is related to number one because it's going to hinder your consistency of repetition. And that is superfluous movement in the body. Now this is a bit of a weird one because I don't want to say that you have to play like a robot and you can't move. But sometimes, and this happens with drums as well, as I used to teach drums a lot, and with drummers, sometimes if you're making your body try and do the movements, it can promote tension and you can't relax. And this can play in with the harmonica as well if we're moving the head. So if once again I'm going to do like a fox chase, sort of maybe more D. Ford Bailey style. And if you were sort of building that up, you had a nice feel and you're getting faster. If you're I can't do it out of time. I'm trying to do it out of time. If you're really tense and you're moving your head and your shoulders are all tight, that can actually stop you playing in time, especially when you get faster. So a great example of this, D. Ford Bailey, if you check out a video of him playing at the Grand Ole Opry, he's playing this amazing kind of fox chasey train thing. And he starts to get really, really fast, and he is barely moving a muscle except maybe a little bit in his face and his throat. But he's creating this massive sound, and it just shows that the groove is really coming from here. It's in the breath control and the diaphragm. So you might want to, if you're playing and you're tense and you're moving a lot, and that's fine because you want to get into the groove. So, you know, it's okay to do that, but you might want to just try and curb that back until you've got the really relaxed breath with the repetition. And once you've got that relaxation, then you can start to get into the groove. But if you find that the movement you're doing is affecting the groove and the sound of the groove, and even your head, if you're moving your head and you can't play accurately on the harmonica, you might just have to tone down the gymnastics for a while and just get relaxed with the chords, and then you can bring in some movement and get into the groove. No one wants you to play like a robot, but go to the old masters. Look at D. Ford Bailey and how his position is when he's playing these chords and these amazing sounds. So the legendary producer Rick Beato, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, said that you can't program a drum machine to play a great shuffle with a great feel. That's interesting, isn't it? And I think the third aspect of rhythm harmonica, or a habit, is not developing your feel enough. And the feel is a very tricky thing to pin down. So if we think of the rhythm in music as a repetition, feel is much more related to groove, and feel is about the nuance. So imagine a shuffle, and we've got a shuffle. But as an example, listen to the way Peg Leg Sam plays a shuffle, and you might stretch it just that little bit. Or with a really strong quarter note. And the only way you can develop feel very well, I think, or the best way, is to put on your favourite tracks and really play along and listen, conscious listening, and really try and get in the groove. So if we're just going to take a shuffle, say bit Peg Leg Sam style. And pay attention to that shuffle, that groove. Cha, 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 cha. Are you pushing? Are you ahead of the beat? And this isn't about the speed, that's the tempo. And it's not necessarily about the rhythm, that's exactly the notes that you're playing in terms of the rhythmic subdivision. It's about the feel, and that is just the micro rhythms in the way that you attack the notes and the micro placement, so the delay. So if someone describes a rhythm as lazy, that would be blues just sort of on the back of the beat, almost feeling like it's dragging, not slowing down, but just dragging. Or greasy, that kind of like New Orleans vibe playing in between the beat. Okay, so this is the feel, and you don't have to worry about the words for this and analysing it, but whoever your favourite artists are, really listen to the way that they play the rhythm and the nuance, and practice just simple chords and simple grooves to develop your rhythm. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you're doing any of these three habits, you might want to evaluate your playing, try and strip things back, try a different approach and see what effect it has on your rhythm harmonica. Do let me know in the comments how you get on with this. If any of it helps, it would be great to know. And of course, take a look at my in-depth lessons and courses. The link's going to be below if you want to see those, and I'll see you for another video very soon. Bye bye.